come in for my close-up now.
Camera.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Dirk Diggler.
This is all an illusion.
Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinema Jam. Today we will do a mini jam where we will do the recap of June of 2026 when we discuss Hollywood Babylon, or that dark side of Hollywood. As always, I'm Sebastian Gomez.
And Pablo Vélez.
So Pablo, we just finished a great month actually. I think the 4 movies that we saw were pretty good, but even the longest and weirdest, which is the movie that we started off, we felt it was a pretty good movie. So let's jump right in. So that was Babylon by the director Damien Chazelle. What do you think about the movie?
Babylon was a good way to start this month and to start the genre of Babylon Hollywood. I mean, it's in the name, and it introduced it to the whole concept of the old Hollywood, moving into the new one, with moving away from silent to sound, and then following that ascend to stardom and the fast downfall. I think it was a good start. Really good, cinematography style from Damien Chazelle, and really good acting all across the board, especially from Margot Robbie in the title, in the main role of Nellie LaRoy.
Yeah, and it was a good movie to showcase that, especially the excesses of Hollywood, I guess, is when you can call it. Those at the beginning they were making so much money, so they were throwing these lavish parties, and it was a different time, and they wouldn't care if they kill someone during the shooting of a movie and things like that. So it was an interesting view of how the machinery that was Hollywood was designed to grind everything to a pulp and just spit it out to the world. Exactly. And they didn't care if it was a gaffer or it was a star, the biggest star in the world.
And so, as if I may, the next movie that we saw in the month is Sunset Boulevard, the classic from 1950, directed by Billy Wilder, and with the amazing, extraordinary performance of Gloria Swanson as the leading lady Norma Desmond. What I really liked about the order that we chose for this month is that Sunset Boulevard, even though it's from the 1950s, could actually be the sequel. Like the part 2 of Babylon, because it was basically the story of that. We ended up, with Margot Robbie not able to be successful during that transition from silent to sound movies. And then Sunset Boulevard is exactly that. Like the older version of a star, like Margot Robbie, in this case Gloria Swanson, hiding away in her Hollywood Sunset Boulevard mansion, and then everything that happens afterwards with William Holden's Joe Gill's character.
Definitely. And I was surprised how good that movie was. I mean, you have heard that it's a classic movie, but seeing it is believing it, especially because Gloria Swanson does such a great job that is magnificent. And it's actually kind of sad to see that we didn't get much of her in the sound area. So it was pretty cool. So the next one, we passed the 50s and we went to the 70s and the 80s. And it was also a very important time in Hollywood because there was a transition between not only the Hollywood machinery, but indie movies started happening. There was also the transition to video. And we also saw the expectations or the dreams of the people making movies independently, in this case in the exotic cinema that was the adult cinema, in the movie Boogie Nights by Paul Thomas Anderson, with magnificent performances by Mark Wahlberg. Burt Reynolds famously didn't like the movie, but his only nomination to an Oscar was in this movie, and Julianne Moore also did an excellent job.
Yeah, I think we praise the performance, especially of Burt Reynolds, because we both agree, Sebas, that he brought to his performance his dislike of the movie, the dislike of the script, the type of industry he was, acting, and obviously the conflict that he had with Paul Thomas Anderson. So I think all of that shaped his performance. Is very, it's very emotional, but it's very contained, and you can feel the anger and the frustration. It's pretty cool.
I think Paul Thomas Anderson was able to extract that from from Burt Reynolds' performance, and it's admirable. I think he's one of the greatest directors right now, and you can tell from this. I think this was like his third movie, if I remember correctly. So it was a great directorial effort. You could see
And
that he tried to put everything he could. Like, he will never make a new movie again. So he did long shots. He did very interesting cutting. The story was very fascinating because he was telling a Hollywood story in another side of Hollywood. So it was less obvious than Damien Chazelle when he did Babylon. And thankfully, he kept doing movies. And the
all
last
right,
one that
and the last
we
one.
reviewed yesterday, yeah.
And the last one is one that I proposed for this genre, and I'm happy I did that, is David Lynch's Mulholland Drive from 2001, starring Naomi Watts, Laura Harring, and also Justin Theroux. So
Yeah.
the movie, so as I mean, you and I were big fans of David Lynch, and I mean, it did not follow like so exactly the same storyline that we have had with Babylon and Sunset Boulevard, nor even the more straightforward story that was told in Boogie Nights. But I think if I may, it also brought this transition, right? Like the whole theme of this genre was like the transition from different technologies, from different formats, films to videos in Boogie Nights. In here, I think it's a transition from a dream nightmare to reality, in the context of this, Hollywood that basically has this dark side, this dark undertow that it's up like, young, naive people.
Yes, I think that's the point of that movie. The young, naive Naomi Watts coming into Hollywood, happy, smiling from the basically getting down of the bus, like you see in so many movies, and finding the Hollywood dream, but then realize it's not really the Hollywood dream; it's the Hollywood nightmare at the end in the last 20 minutes. So it's a great metaphor of that dream of Hollywood that they come to Hollywood for a reason, and then Hollywood spits them out. And that's the thing now about all of this. Some of them were more direct about taking people and how they can lose their heads in the process and then they fall down. I mean, I think in the 4 movies we see a lot of that, but definitely they tell a story about that dark side of Hollywood, and they fit perfectly together.
Exactly.
Now is the hard part because I actually like the 4 movies a lot, but picking who's gonna be the ranking is gonna be hard.
Want me to give it a
I
go?
do want, yeah, you can suggest one. I do want to mention that we have delved in this topic before. We saw Get Shorty, and we saw some other movies related to Hollywood, and we will probably come back to it because there is so much opportunities. So for now, this is a ranking of our 4 Hollywood Babylon movies.
Okay, I agree 100%. This is a tough one. All 4 movies were good, but starting from the bottom upwards, like I think the movie that I would put in position number 4 is Babylon. It's not because I did not like it. I actually enjoyed the movie more than I thought I was going to enjoy it. But I just, when we discussed it, I think there were really good performances, especially from Margot Robbie. She stole the movie. She's the one that brings the energy in every single scene that she's in. I felt that the chemistry with Diego Calva, Manny Torres in the movie was really like not there. I mentioned during our main episode, I was not a big fan of Diego Calva's performance. I'm sure he's a good actor, but there's something about it that did not click, especially when compared to the force of nature that Margot Robbie was. So I think because of that aspect, Sebas, I would put this one at number 4.
Yeah, right now I will put in number 4 as well. I still like it. I am the one that proposed it, but it did feel that it was a little bit long, that you could have cut some pieces of it and focus more on the characters. But it was still, I mean, if it's a pure tale of Hollywood Babylon, that's a perfect example. But yeah, I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means. I mean, I will give it like a 7 out of 10 or something like that.
Okay, now is going to be the really hard part. Positions number 3 and number 2, because for me, they are a very close call, and I haven't made up my mind yet. I think either Boogie Nights or Mulholland Drive would take that position. And I'm I'm torn about that because I think both movies are amazing. I think I might lean towards Mulholland Drive more for the second spot because of what a masterpiece is in the context of David Lynch, although Boogie Nights fits better our Babylon genre. It's a more structured storytelling of this rise and fall in the movie industry.
Yeah. And Boogie Nights really uses the metaphor pretty well. So I mean, we love that movie, but we are also conscious that some pieces of Mulholland Drive are like stitched together, basically like he shot something else and then he started adding pieces trying to make it fit. Kind of like Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, the movie that was going to be also like another series or something like that. So I admire the technical prowess of Boogie Nights more. And that's the reason I will pick Boogie Nights, because it fits more in the genre. And I really think that Paul Thomas, he it seemed like he said, okay, if I'm never going to make another movie, I'm going to make this movie, and this is going to be the best movie I'm going to ever going to make. And it felt like that. And I admire Mulholland Drive a lot, and I still like it a lot after 25 years. So I will put Mulholland Drive in third
place,
and Boogie Nights in second.
Exactly. Boogie Nights in second and then Mulholland Drive in third place. I'm okay with that, Sebas, even though I want to, mention again that Boogie Nights, the performance from Burt Reynolds is completely out of this world, is like amazing. And even Mark Wahlberg also did an amazing job. Some of the supporting characters, though, it felt like he was trying to tell way too many stories at the same time. And especially, John C. Reilly's Wreath Rothschild, the magician one, it gets to me. Like, I really get annoyed when I see it. But even though that, I agree, Boogie Nights is an amazing storytelling of the Hollywood Babylon genre.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that actually leaves us with the first place. It's
Sunset Boulevard.
Definitely. I mean, I was surprised. I never seen this movie before. I knew about a little bit about it. I had it in my purchase catalog for a long time and never like hit play to watch it. And I decided to watch it after. Well, you proposed it, so it was actually very good that you proposed it, and yeah, it was amazing. I was surprised how good Gloria Swanson and everything in the story is great, and the inclusion of these cameos of real life figures, it was great.
It was beautiful. Yeah. It's an amazing movie. I mean, it might not be, fair to the other movies because this is such a classic. This is something that is like, such a baseline, a guideline for any other movie that explores this kind of film noir / Hollywood undertow genre. So, but I mean, yeah, it was also the first time for me, like watching the movie, like completely from beginning to end, and I was surprised about how good it felt, how natural, how fluent, even though it's like a 1950s movie in black and white. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, and it's a noir, so we always love noirs here.
Yes,
so last year we dedicated 2 whole months for noirs, and this year we're dedicating 2 whole months to Hollywood because July is showbiz. Okay, we normally ask the following questions. What was your biggest surprise in June?
I think Margot Robbie's performance in Babylon. Obviously, she's an actress that everyone knows of. I really admire what she did in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought it was a really good role.
But it was a much smaller role. Yeah.
It was much
a
smaller
lot of people
role.
compare both roles, but yeah, that one was almost like a cameo. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, knowing like the whole story behind Polanski and his wife and, what happened back then in the 60s, it had like this really like very dark, theme around, which was very interesting. But I think in Babylon, she was able to give all of her, acting, range, and she succeeded and she drove the movie. If she wasn't in that movie, if they cast someone else, I don't know if it would have worked the same way, and I would definitely not put it at all in the rank.
Yeah, for me, it was Gloria Swanson was actually my discovery. I don't think I've ever seen anything from her, or maybe I have in movies from other directors, but it was surprising how well she did and so true to life, and it was great. I love her performance there. Rewatching Mulholland Drive is also like a bigger surprise. It's always a surprise how weird it is and the things that he's trying to tell and it's everything there. So the movie is still a surprise. So it's like a second surprise. I haven't watched it in 20 years, so it was definitely. Was there anything that you say you didn't get? Like, well, maybe you're talking
the ending,
John C. Reilly, I guess.
Well, I mean, maybe two things. The ending of Mulholland Drive, I'm still, even this is the second time or third time I watched the movie, I'm still like not fully processing what happened. I need to think about it as I just watched a really bad dream coming into reality and that's it, and tried to digest it that way. But yes, I didn't understand at all the role of John C. Reilly in Boogie Nights. It was like, I think we discussed, you said that it was more like a comedic type of role, like trying to...
like, I mean, if you pay attention to the lines he said, they were like punchlines to jokes that were never there. Like, for example, when he meets Mark Wahlberg, and he's, oh, look, this is the new kid in the street. And John C. Reilly asks, so you live on the street? And okay, so that's a punchline for a joke, I guess. So
I don't know.
So that's what I thought they were trying to make him like the comic relief or something like that. But yeah, it didn't work as well.
I would have been happy if if they would have like edited out of all of his scenes, the movie would have actually been.
I like him a lot. It was good finding a younger version of him. The magic part maybe is the one that at the end was kind of ridiculous.
What about you?
I think for me will be what Damien Chazelle wanted to say with his movie. Since the introduction of the elephant and, when they say we're going to the anus of Hollywood and things like that. I mean, what was he trying to say? I don't think he really had like a clear message and it got lost in the 3-hour length. So maybe he edited a little bit more to find like a more polished version. It will be a much better movie, and we will maybe even have it higher in our poll. But yeah, that's the thing. What was he trying to say? We don't know.
The last 30 minutes of this movie, and this is my advice to the viewers, like to our followers who haven't seen the movie, you can stop the movie at the last 30 minutes and just
basically when they run away from Hollywood, you can stop the movie.
Exactly. The next 30 minutes, it's nonsense. It doesn't add anything at all. So
yeah. And there was another thing in that movie, the flea and the guy that looked like Weinstein, and flea looked like Epstein. So was he trying to do that consciously? I'm not really sure. But which one do you think will be the best performance and the worst performance of all the movies?
Well, the best performance, Gloria Swanson from Sunset Boulevard. There's something magical from a completely different era. The way she expresses so much with her face, her eyes, her smile, or her, or her grin when she's angry. There's like so much of that style of acting that came from the silent era that just feels like unnatural. When you watch it in a movie with sound, you feel like she's she's overacting, but no, that's the way it was in silent movies. And I think the what that brought to Sunset Boulevard was amazing. That for me is the best performance. The worst performance, besides John C. Reilly, because I don't want to get stuck in that poor guy. Maybe I want to say that in Babylon, I mean, again, I'm not a big fan of Diego Calva. And it's not that he did a bad performance; it's that he did not keep up with with the rhythm
the
and
energy,
the
yeah.
energy that Margot Robbie. I mean,
And Brad Pitt, and when he
even
had
Brad Pitt,
to
yes,
interact with Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, and he was never up to the same energy
exactly,
that they
exactly.
were.
So it wasn't
Yeah.
just exactly, it wasn't just with Margot Robbie. It's also when he was in scenes with Brad Pitt. So yeah, definitely for me, that's the lowest point from a leading, actor.
Hmm. For me, I think the best performance is I mean, Gloria Swanson is amazing, but man, Naomi Watts in this movie, I still remember when I saw it 21 or 25
Yes.
years ago, and seeing it again, I was, man, this is definitely one of the best actresses working right now. And a lot of people can see her, and she's acting a lot in Disney Plus TV series, especially the Capote versus the Swans and all these Ryan Murphy series, and she's like a staple for him, and she's doing a great job in those as well. So watching her being discovered here in this movie is still for me like magnificent.
Yep.
Worst performance, I'm not really sure. I mean, I agree with Diego Calva, but not that I didn't hate it as much.
So
But the energy was never up to par. I agree with that.
we also spoke about one of the friends from of Joe Gillis, William Holden's character in Sunset Boulevard, the guy that was supposed to be like this funny comic relief, Artie Green, I think.
Artie, yeah.
That
Yeah.
felt like this,
out of place completely. And the accent, that's one of the accents that you mentioned.
It sounded like Quagmire from Family Guy, and it was distracting and annoying.
Yeah. I guess in that movie, yeah, even William Holden, I didn't think he was also up to par with the two leading ladies. Actually, I like the other leading lady, the young one.
Yeah, Nancy.
And I like Gloria Swanson, but I think the worst performances were in that one, and you could tell they were more classical, more yeah. Is there any supporting character that you want to highlight from all the movies?
Well, there are a lot of supporting characters that are very interesting in all the movies.
Yeah, I mean,
Oof.
yeah. Especially, I think Boogie Nights and Mulholland Drive has some of the best. They had so many secondary characters, supporting characters there.
I mean, I think the butler from Sunset Boulevard, Eric von Stroheim, Max von Meyerling, was a very interesting character because of what he was, the role he was playing, protecting Gloria Swanson, creating this make-believe reality, and how things unfold at the end. Him being a director in the past, like directing that last scene before she's taken in custody. I think it's an amazing ending and a great performance.
I'm actually going to ask you an additional one.
Sure.
Best cameo.
Cecil B. the Meal.
I was going to say that one. Yeah, I mean, the real Cecil B. the Meal in Sunset Boulevard was amazing. Great. And that was a cameo. That wasn't like a supporting character. So I agree with that. Yeah. And there were, the adult actress in Boogie Nights. I always found it very, very funny. The wife of William H. Macy, Little Bill. And I think the three movies had like cameos like that. I mean, Flea in is kind of like a cameo. For supporting characters, for me, they were so many. I don't want to really highlight anyone. I mean, Max was great. There were some weird characters in Mulholland Drive that I liked. Even the witch or the lady, the living behind the garbage dispenser or the garbage collector. And so no, I'm not going to do that. Is there a deep disappointment?
Big disappointment. I don't have any disappointments, to be honest, except the ending of Babylon. I thought it was way too long, and I don't know. More than a disappointment, it's more like I felt a little bored at the end.
Yeah, and the clip that he chose at the history of cinema in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it's even long. Yeah, didn't add anything to the movie as well, so it was like kind of weird. I think that I think the ending of that one is disappointing a little bit. And to be honest, the ending of Mulholland is a little bit disappointing as well. They were trying to chew in a lot of things there, and some of them didn't make any sense, but it happened too fast. So I don't know. I felt a little bit weird, but I mean, it's David Finch, so it's weird is good. So
Exactly.
so his movies weird is good. Which one do you think will be the best director? The direction. So Damien Chazelle, Billy Wilder, David Lynch, or Paul Thomas Anderson.
From my side, Sebas, is David Lynch. Just like thinking about the directing style, the cinematography as well, and the way he was telling this film noir in Los Angeles with this, transition from dreams, nightmare to reality. I thought it was like so amazingly done. I think it's his masterpiece. So for me, it was David Lynch.
I think I will give it to Paul Thomas Anderson. I really appreciate a lot of what he was trying to do, and he was using many techniques, obviously, that we have seen before. But I think he gave it his own style. And making work that rude Burt Reynolds, for me, is always going to be like, okay, this is a great director. A guy that fired his agent because he made him do this movie is the best thing, the best qualifier for a director that you can have. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy the month. We really like it. So I hope everyone can enjoy it as well. And these are excellent, 4 movies. We want to remind, okay, in the end, Babylon was our 4th, Mulholland Drive 3rd, Boogie Nights 2nd, and Sunset Boulevard first. Until next time, keep jamming about movies.
Until next time, thanks everyone.